When you think of art museums, you think of people walking around and peacefully reflecting on the pieces. You don't typically associate screaming babies and toddler with that equation. Well, today I'm going to give you my top 7 tips of keeping your children entertained while at the museum, so stick around. Tip number 1, go at your child's pace. So if they want to move on to a different section, then you have to oblige. Now their attention span is only going to last about 10 to 15 minutes per section. So that means they're only going to want to look at each piece maybe 20-30 seconds. Now the task of completing a multi-level museum can be daunting, so I want you to set your expectations low. You're not going to complete it all in one day. If you get to the museum at 3 o'clock and they close at 5, ask the lobby if they'll give you a rain check. Most museums will oblige, and this allows you a little bit more time for the next day. Tip number 2, explain the no-touch rule. It's important to explain that the oil on our hands can deteriorate the art and make it not last for everybody else who's going to come to the museum. But it's not always easy to explain to babies and children. Some museums will draw a line in front of the art to show you how far away to stay, but not all will. So one trick you can do is stick your arms out in front of you and then have your child stand next to you. Everybody can enjoy a good game of copycat. Tip number 3, choose baby and toddler friendly exhibits. Now both enjoy bright colors, playful textures, and human and animal features. So think hyperrealism or abstract art, anything that's going to engage the mind. The more fun the art is, the longer they're going to want to stay and interact with the pieces. Tip number 4, going back to the copycat, play a game of mimic the statue. Now go up to the statues and ask your child to strike a pose of whatever they're looking at. You can pretend that you're an animal, you can pretend that you're a horse, or a dinosaur, or a Greek god.
A Greek god.
So it could be a lot of fun. Tip number 5, play museum bingo. Now when you first get to the gift shop, go and purchase yourself a couple of postcards and then ask your child to find the art within the museum. This keeps them engaged and helps them to make a game out of walking around. Tip number 6, bring along some pipe cleaners. When you walk around, you can give your child a couple of sets of pipe cleaners and then ask them to recreate some of the art that they see on the walls. Like this one, for instance.
Tip number 1, untackle.
Now some museums like the San Antonio Museum of Art or the Denver Art Museum are going to have these fun backpacks for you and your child to go do scavenger hunts throughout the museum. The San Antonio Museum of Art is going to have things like play dates and art crawls where babies can crawl around and look at the art with their moms and dads. And sometimes they'll have things like First Sundays for families where they can do art activities and create their own art with the curators. I'll go ahead and leave links down below so you can go ahead and check them out. And finally, tip number 7, ask the curators tons of questions. Now I know that sometimes it looks like the curators are just security, but they actually know a lot about the art, so it's worth asking them if you have any questions about what you see on the walls. Well, I hope you found these tips useful, and I hope you bring them on your next trip to the art museum. Let us know if they work out for you. If you want more tips like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you on our next adventure. Bye everybody! Bye!
Shit.